Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the L.O.V. Legacy Hour chat. Sunday, 3 p.m. It's going to be a great hour. Please call mother, father, sister, and brother for this show. You definitely need to listen to this very carefully. It is going to be an amazing hour for everybody. Today, I would like to just read something very important. I want to get to this thing here immediately. All right. Two great parties aligned for our ceremonial launch of Seven Heaven on Legends of Vinyl Visual Radio. The esteemed late musical host David Mancuso of the Loft and Larry Levan of the Paradise Garage both emphasize thematic development over beat matching while keeping dance floors moving all night long. Seventh Heaven is the rebirth of the grooves well established by David Mancuso and Larry Levan, featuring Douglas Sherman, who continues to work under the Loft umbrella, celebrating its milestone 50th Love Save the Day anniversary party, Valentine's Day weekend 2020, and Joey Llanos, who was an essential contributor to the garage and continues to spearhead the Paradise Garage reunion parties with David DePino, will function as a joint tribute to the collective legacies they represent. Except a virtual Expect a virtual party where they play music they love and foster an inclusive community that elevates the dancer above the clouds to a place of musical bliss. That's right, my friends. Joey Llanos is a percussionist turned DJ whose relationship with Paradise Garage began when he became head security consultant in 1978. By 1983, he was a backup music selector for Larry Levan. Joey went on to open his own club, The Choice, with Richard Vasquez, and has since slayed dance floors throughout New York City and around the globe. He sits at the helm of the Paradise Garage reunion parties alongside Paradise legend David DePino, keeping the legacy alive to this day. Douglas Sherman has been an integral member of the Loft family dating back to 1979, most notably for balloon decor and as David Mancuso's longest serving backup musical host. Therefore, it should come as no surprise that he carefully considers the entire experience of the party, from audio quality to decorations. Douglas, also known as the Balloon Whisperer, I love that, and his team seriously transform spaces into a cathedral of balloons for a visual delight. As a musical host, he serves as a conduit tapping into the collective vibration of music to reach the listener's ear and inspire the dancer's heart. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like you to please put your hands together and welcome. Yes, put your hands together because they are here right now. Mr. David, Douglas Sherman and Joey Llanos. Gentlemen, how you doing? That was a a lot of reading, but you know something, I had to do it. I want people. I well, that's true. But check it out, guys. This is so freaking awesome, guys. You are just making me so happy, and I'm sure people can appreciate what this is going to happen on the third Saturday of every month, coming together and bring this joy to people. So, Douglas, tell us a little bit about what's going on, and then Joy can, say hello to everybody as well.
Well, in terms of Joey and I have known each other for seems like a long time. I mean, we've worked together during his time at the Choice, and became really good friends, and we always had the idea to collaborate and partner on something around a musical endeavor. And at, there were a few opportunities over the years, but finally I think it's come together around this idea of seventh heaven, which in part comes out of the music that Larry Levan spawned. One of his um, records that he produced and remixed, which is among one of my favorites, and I believe many garage and loft attendees' favorites, was a record he did called Seventh Heaven. And we thought it would be fitting as a, you know, both a tribute, but also in terms of continuing the sharing of music that Joey and I both continue to have a passion for. And so we figured out how to partner because I'm strictly vinyl
Right.
and Joey is digital, digital, and he loves his Serato. And so we figured out how to make it work. And I couldn't ask for a more fun and endearing partner than to work with Joey on something like this. And so Joey's had he'll talk a bit about his experience both with Larry as well as David. David, when he would invite very, very few people behind the turntables to share putting on a record with him. And so David's thing was to just do one. And a big part of David's approach to music was the shedding of the ego. So it wasn't about mixing, it wasn't about doing a set of records, it was inviting a friend to say, hey, would you like to follow this record, put a record on with me? And it would become like a 1-1-1-1 trade-off. And essentially that is what Joey and I do. We've basically just one off each other on the music, and it works. Joey has a musical sensibility that is easy for me to kind of feel and follow,
Right.
and I believe the same for, well, I'm probably a bit more of a pain in the ass than Joey might want to admit because
Yeah.
we're always kind of butting heads over volume levels and things, when it comes to the dramatic side and emphasizing some of the selections. But Joey's been up to now has been a great partner, and I just have and so that's essentially the core of Seventh Heaven is really just tapping into our rich musical legacies between Paradise Garage and the Loft, and the fact that there's always a promise of something new, and that's what I think we try to offer with the passion we both share in
Yeah.
music.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally understand. Absolutely right. Joey,
Yes.
give us your point of view. Give us a little bit of what you have to say about it.
Well, I'm very finicky about playing records with other people or just selecting music with other people. Um, Doing it with David DePino at the Paradise Garage reunion. That's a relationship that has built over 40 years.
Right.
So in order to do that type of expression through music, DJing one on one, you really have to drop the ego. The ego has to disappear.
Completely.
There's no, you know, the spotlight and you know, let me drive the dance floor crazy and it's all about me. No, it's really about
Right.
the party and the dancers. And I found out that me and Douglas kind of could meld synergistically when I played with him the first time at one of his events called Adventures in Flight, which was done at the club Nowadays in Brooklyn.
Okay.
A very nice sound system done by Shorty SBS, and
Among
nice.
one of the best in the city right now.
Actually, yes, Shorty's one of the top music guys in New York City,
Yep.
and that room is very tight. It's pretty close to the Paradise Garage box because they
All custom made.
it's a custom sound, and he we soundproof because the garage, if you remember, was all soundproofed with fiberglass from top to bottom. So nowadays they attempted to do this, and no obstructions, and we just really clicked, and we had a good time. And before we knew it, the night was over,
Right.
and we like, wow, we could go on for a few more hours,
I,
but
yeah.
unfortunately we couldn't do that. Then the opportunity came up again to do the party at club. What's like the club
Good
escapes
room.
me. Good
A
room.
good room.
Right. Another beautiful underground room. The vibe in that room is really excellent. And we go in there, we tweak the sound to our liking, and it's just wonderful sharing music with somebody who loves music on the level that I do, and I'm fortunate enough to have played alongside Larry Levan and played also alongside David Mancuso doing the one-on-one. He didn't invite very many people to do that with him,
Right.
but I'm fortunate enough to say that I was one of them, to do it with him at the Loft.
Right.
So yeah, it's definitely a labor of love.
Absolutely.
You know.
You said that right. You said it 100%. I totally agree. I'm curious. I'm curious to know. Can somebody's got the sound up? Can somebody bring it down so I hear myself? Um, can how do you guys? I mean, you guys do like a round robin kind of thing. You play one song and then Douglas plays one song and then Joey.
Well,
Good.
it's more mood than anything else.
Okay.
The beginning of the night, it depends. It just depends. I really play according to my mood. I guess I got that from Larry Levan because he was very moody, and he was, and very shady at times, you know. But
Oh
and
shit! I love
very
it.
like the nun with the ruler. Like if you did something wrong, he would not hesitate to hit you in
I
the hand
yeah.
with the, so to speak. He wouldn't physically do that, but he would definitely let you know that you did something wrong when you were touching the sound system.
Right.
Um, the beginning of the night, um, I kind of leave to Douglas because it's a much more like a serene beginning build up of the party, and sometimes my head is not there for the first hour, and Doug does an excellent job of building up to the point where I feel okay, it's time to add something,
Absolutely.
and then we go from there. We go back and forth, one on one, or if sometimes we'll get a rush and I'll put on two or I'll put on three, or if Douglas gets a rush
All
at
right.
some moment, whatever created it in his mind, he says, I'm going to do this for the next whatever. And I'm saying, fine. And it's very relaxed like that.
Very organic as
Unplanned.
well.
Okay.
It's unplanned. There's no programming. It's what every party is like a new blank
Right.
canvas.
I love it.
And
Yeah. I
it
love the
really
idea.
it's been working.
Totally understand that. Absolutely. You can plan something. You have to just make sure that. Oh my! Don't. Excuse me for. Douglas, I'm very interested in getting to know the relationship between you and David. As you spend so many years together and absorbing and learning and all of that kind of the move. Because I was fortunate enough to be one of the DJs who were there from the first day and on Broadway, September Valentine's Day, actually, not September, Valentine's Day on 1970, and a few other times. And I was part of the record pool as well. So spent a lot of time at the loft and as well
You're
as the
at
garage.
346 Broadway. You remember going up the
Yes,
stairs, and
absolutely,
still
absolutely.
there, the same, the
Yeah,
original, everything is
yeah,
still intact. I mean,
right,
they changed the front door, but
right.
everything still looks the same as
Amazing,
when David
right.
left it.
So tell me your relationship with David.
Well, I'm my first time going to one of David's parties was in 1979 through a friend who was able to get an invitation and extend it to me. And I had heard, I was aware of the parties, but to get into one wasn't the easiest thing unless you had a friend or with an invitation to it,
An
because
invitation.
David's parties were private by invitation only. And so I had an opportunity to go, and I guess I was maybe 19 years old. I was in college, School of Visual Arts, and that party really completely was like almost an epiphany in some ways. It
Mm.
was really an experience unlike any I had ever had at what I thought was like in a club type of environment. The music that David selected, the quality of the dancers, the whole vibe, the whole night, and the the sound quality, everything just was a bit overwhelming. And so when I left, it was unlike anything else I had experienced up to then. And so my goal was to somehow figure out how to get back in.
Mm.
And I was one of those kids that would stand, David would have a line 3 or 4 wide down the block. At the end of the block was the post office, which is now an Apple store, but it used to be a functional post office on Prince Street and Green. I think it was Prince and Green, or Prince and Green. And in any event, I would just go up and ask people, "Hey, can I go in with you?" And most of the time, that would be how it would work out. Eventually, I was able to get my own. I got sponsored for an invitation, and I was able to come legit without having to ask anybody to risk their invitation, because David was very strict with that. And if he became aware that people were bringing in someone they didn't know, he would suspend their pretty much their
Never
invitation
guess.
at that point,
Wow.
because you're going into his home. It was his home. He lived there. Funny thing is, people would say that, but it wasn't until I actually went to the bathroom and I'm looking at the sink and I see a toothbrush and toothpaste, and I said, "Damn, this guy, somebody really does live here." So there were the telltale signs of that when you really began to kind of look around. In any event, so I'd want to get there and hear the very first record David would play, because I was just so much in love with the
Right.
whole arc of music that David was playing over the course of the party. And I get there early, and this one occasion they would open at midnight, and I got there exactly at midnight, and they weren't really quite ready yet. They were still like setting up and getting the coat check tickets ready and still hanging things around, cleaning up. And so they let me in because they were already familiar with me. And at that point, I'm inside, and David walked over and said, "Do you mind helping out?" And I said, "Sure." And he handed me a bag of Qualitex balloons, a red balloon inflator, and a handful of rubber bands. And he walked away. And I'm like, I had no clue what to do, but there were other people there that came over and kind of showed me a few things. And that was the beginning of how I began offering, volunteering for the party. And I think what it really, without realizing it then, but how I see it now, is really how you build a sense of community
Mm.
around this party, which is really what it was. People would come and bring food, contribute.
Right.
It wasn't
Yeah.
just
Sure.
coming in and making a contribution. People brought more than that to this
Right.
party.
Right.
And I think there was out of that, a real deeper love for David and this whole thing that he kind of grew over the years, and it spawned a community. And I'm sure Joey could speak to that as well, because Paradise Garage was really as much a part of that community and grew
Oh,
the
absolutely.
community even larger.
Oh, yeah.
Um, that kind of was heavily influenced from what David was doing, or as he did over the years.
Mm.
Right. Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. I was there so many times, and then when he moved to Prince Street, 75, opened up 99 Prince Street, opened up the record pool. I was one of the first DJs. I still have my cards. I still have everything about, um, you know, I saved those things like they're like I don't know, they're so special things in my collection. And I
That
never
that
had,
was
yeah, go ahead.
essentially my introduction to David, and getting developing a friendship with him over the years. And then when David moved, he left 99 Prince Street. He moved to he actually bought a movie theater in Alphabet City on the Lower East Side,
Wow.
and he needed, a lot of he accepted a lot of help in what was happening, in getting it ready. And once he opened his doors at that location, he really lost like two-thirds of his following, because that neighborhood was still a
Hmm.
very, very undesirable neighborhood for a lot of people to venture into. And that was back in the days when we had removable car radios and not even faceplates yet.
Oh,
People
wow.
were taking out their radio, and so people were afraid to park their cars in that neighborhood. And it was really still like a neglected part of the city for umpteen years when David moved in. So he was really one of the pioneers of that neighborhood. I hate to say that gentrified it, but that was the direction it was going in. But it took
Wow.
another 10, 15 years before it even, you know, began to show signs of real investment, like Dwayne Reed opening up there, and
Hmm.
banks opening up branches in,
Wow.
in that area. But when David moved there, he needed a lot of help, and he really had very limited resources at that time. And I offered to help. And so my relationship just continued to grow, because I still felt to this day it was the best party in New York City for me.
Yeah.
And it sounded even better when he moved into that space. What he put together as a sound system was simply, I think, among one of the best I've ever heard.
Absolutely.
And so I would continue to help and volunteer, and eventually I was doing coat check, and if the toilet got stuffed up, I would go up and plunge a toilet, and
Right.
we did cashier and payroll and hung balloons. So it
Damn.
really was a whole host of things over time that I would offer to help David with, because I really love the parties, and I just felt like I had the time to do it. And
Yeah. Yeah.
that was the relationship that
Yeah.
grew.
Yeah. And to this day, we all feel the same way, and we can't say thank you enough for you. To you for still doing the same thing. And the last time I saw you, a couple of years ago, but then we went to the service for David in New York City. I went there especially for that day. We were sitting on the front with quite a few friends that came together, and you'll remember that. I mean, from it was
Mhm.
an amazing service for David.
He was
And
very close to Roy B. Roy was there when they started the record
yeah,
pool, and
sure,
he introduced Roy introduced David to his family, and David was basically adopted by his family. And
yeah,
Roy's mother,
yeah,
Josette Delaquis,
yeah,
loved David, and they had a very, very close. Every year on Valentine's Day and on her birthday, David would have a big basket of fruit and flowers delivered to her every
wow,
year. He never forgot, and he adored her. And Roy's mother she's an angel. What can I tell you?
yeah.
But they were very close, and then I started dating his sister, who eventually she and I got married. So it
Uh,
was just one, extended family around all of that.
Yeah, I I loved Roy. He's still a friend. He's still a dear friend. Uh, I met him back in 1972 as he was working for Roulette Records. But none of this was none of no nobody knew about this. Not that many people, anyways, until he opened up and said, da 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 da, this is what happens. But yes, I was there with Roy. I was there with quite a few people, Jelly Bean Benitez and Pinky Velasquez, a whole bunch of people. I know that the day was incredible. Service was amazing. But like I say, Joe, I want to go into Joey because Joey, you're a percussionist turned DJ, and in the beginning you were the security consultant in 1978. How was your relationship in those days? You took this job, and what happened in those days? What happened as soon as you walked into that particular spot?
My relationship, how that started with Larry. Wow, talking, we're going back years.
All right.
I was brought there. Larry was very influenced by David Mancuso because before I knew David Mancuso, Larry would mention him a lot as far as um, audio and quality and lyric hi-fi and Larry wanted to, from my impression, um, reproduce the hi-fi quality of the Loft
Mm-hmm.
on what you remember in the garage scale, big
Mm-hmm.
super club scale,
Right.
and but anyway, I first was brought to the Paradise Garage by a close friend who you may know. His name is Mark Riley, who's
Mark
a
Riley.
news anchor on
Wow.
WLIB,
Holy crap. Yeah.
and he was very close with Larry Levan. He brought me there on a Saturday night,
Yeah.
which was the whole experience was very. I don't want to say shocking, but it was kind of overwhelming to take
Okay.
in because
Yeah.
I'm an electrician by trade, union IBEW Local 3, New York City. So during those times, construction and those it's very homophobic,
Hmm.
in
Wow.
that that area of construction, So he brings me to this club. He says, "Oh, you gotta come to this club. It's you gotta come." He's trying for weeks and weeks and weeks. We were marching in drum and bugle corps at the time together. So we would meet in the weekends and we rehearse all weekend percussion because he was a percussionist also. And then at the end of like an 8 9 hour day, he says, "Come on, let's go hang out downtown." On a Saturday night, I said, "What time?" He says, "Well, it doesn't open till midnight." I said, "Midnight? What do you have in your mind? Midnight."
Yeah. Right.
So finally, he gets me to go, and I go in there, and I wasn't used to seeing like men dancing together. It was a
Okay.
Saturday night. So I was very much like with my back up against the wall, looking
Okay.
around,
Jeez.
but nobody was bothering me. It was the whole stigma. What I don't have a word for it, but everything you hear about the gay community was
Mm.
in my head. And
Yeah.
I was transformed that night about the gay community because I was there and people were having such a great time. There were women there too, but it was a Saturday night,
Right.
so it was limited, because the members were only allowed to bring one female on a Saturday night amongst their guests.
Right.
So, but the women that were there were very beautiful. So I was taking it all in, and the sound was just
That was it.
incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
The sound and the lighting was I never seen anything like that in my life, and I really
It was
didn't.
Richard Long's sound system,
Yeah.
right?
Plus.
Was absolutely
Yes.
Richard
Yes.
Long
Yes.
built the sound system.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Larry kept
Um,
adding things to it, right? Tell him how
well,
he drove
Richard,
Michael
Richard,
Brody, the
Richard
owner,
kept
crazy.
How can
Richard
you
Long would
add
add.
so much more to what Richard Long's mind can you do? How can you possibly do that?
Well, it was Richard Long's mind. actually, because Richard used that room as a showroom for his
Aha.
sound system.
Ah. Okay.
So whenever Richard built something new, he would bring it to the garage and test it out there. So and then if Larry liked it, it became part of the sound system.
Right.
So when Michael Brody would see Richard coming in with a piece of electronics under his arm, he would hold his head. He was like, "Oh my God,
Yeah.
how much is it?
How
How much
much
is
is
it?"
it?
He says, and Richard would tell him, "Michael, I'm just bringing it in here to test it out. It's not costing you anything. You don't worry about it." He says, "No, no, because Larry's going to see it. He's going to want it, and I'm going to have to buy it. So why don't you just tell me how much it is now?"
Right,
So
right,
Michael
right.
knew right away. And Larry had a lot of influence on Richard Long as far as what he wanted to do with the image of the sound in the room,
Certainly.
and this influenced um, what Richard would attempt to build and create what Larry wanted to do. It was like two mad scientists together. But anyway, um, Mark Riley brought me up to the booth to meet Larry, and I didn't know anything about playing records,
Right.
DJs. I heard about DJs, but I didn't know what they did.
Hmm.
So that was my first experience as far as DJing. But Larry was playing records and manipulating the sound with the isolator, and there was a satellite light control that overrid the main
Right. I
lighting
remember.
board.
I remember the
So
DJ
he
booth very
would
well.
he would manipulate Larry would manipulate the lighting in the room to coincide with what he was doing with the sound personally,
Right.
and that was amazing in itself.
Sure.
So after that experience, I went home and I bought a turntable. I started collect. That's where I met David DePino too. I became a DJ by accident, and so did David
Yeah.
DePino. David
Yeah.
DePino, I think at the time he owned his own hair salon,
Okay.
and he just worked. He works personal security for Larry's booth upstairs, the VIP section of the DJ booth.
Okay.
That was David DePino's job, and I came back to the club after Mark Riley brought me there, and I found out that some people, because I also do martial arts, I teach martial arts,
Yes, you do.
and the security that worked the Paradise Garage, there was some of the martial artists that I've known in the martial arts world, and tournaments and security and stuff like that. So that's how I got involved with the security. And the relationship with Larry kind of cemented more when he found out that I was an electrician. When he found out I was an electrician, a project came up where we needed to upgrade the power for some amplifiers. He needed extra power, which required installing another panel and
Right.
more power. So I did that job, and that's what brought me closer to Larry and there during the day, and while he was tuning the sound and playing records, and he would ask me to put a record on while he was downstairs white noising or
Right.
whatever he was doing.
Sure.
So that's how our relationship built,
Right.
um, to the point where, because David DePino was first backing Larry up as far as playing,
Right.
and then I came into it later.
Right.
And then when Larry became comfortable with us, he just started coming later and later. Sometimes he wouldn't
Oh
even
yeah,
show up.
notoriously late.
Right.
He
But
would
and he
like
had he had several friends of ours in that he invited. Obviously, I had Steve Thompson a couple of weeks ago. Couple of quite a few disc jockeys that had the opportunity to, just a few, not many, that he will allow to open. Was Danny Crivet was one of them, I'm sure.
Danny Crivet. I don't believe Danny Crivet ever opened there. I mean, there were nights where the club had off night record pool parties, and industry parties,
Right.
those were the nights where most of the DJs got an opportunity to touch the sound
That
system.
sound system.
The only, I mean, David could answer these questions a little better as far as DJs actually playing, but I don't remember any DJs playing there on the nights that we were open, other than one night that Larry Levan, um, the first night he decided not to come in for the entire night while I was playing, and I wasn't used to doing a 12-hour set.
Wow.
So I'm practically falling asleep at the console, and good friend Larry Patterson comes in,
All right.
DJ
Yeah.
from New
Sure.
Jersey. So he looks at me. He says, "You don't look too good." He said, "What you go to now?" I said, "Oh my God, thank you so much." So Larry Patterson played for me that night for about a couple of hours while I laid down on the bench and went straight to sleep. And
That's
he
it.
woke me up. So, okay, buddy, it's time to get back.
Right.
But Larry would do that. Larry would, we would
Yeah.
open for him. We would keep it mellow and play the opening
Right.
set nice. And
Right.
of course, there was a box of records that we could not touch that Larry would use for his peak hours, you know. And that's how we would kind of threaten him to come in on time. We said, if you don't come in, Larry, on time, we're going to start going into that other box of records that you don't want us to touch. And we're going
Exactly.
to rock the room, and he would show up, But
Eh,
then he never really had to worry about us, as
right.
far as his job security or anything, because we would never, like some DJs, if one DJ falls out of the booth, another DJ will jump right in there like if it was some crazy,
What a
take over
great
the job.
story.
And I know some DJs today, very famous, that have done that to people. I won't mention no names,
Gotcha.
but no, it was very secure. Environment for Larry because he had me and David to back him up and protect him, and
Yep.
it was beautiful. He was a superstar DJ for a super mega club during those days when going on at the same time that Studio 54 was happening. But we were downtown and we were black and we were gay and we were underground. So
Two different
Studio
worlds.
54 had all the
Yeah,
lights and
two different worlds. Two different
yes,
ones. It's mainstream
yes,
versus underground, and the mindset. There was
right,
a whole different world. You can't
yeah.
compare one and the other. I'm sorry, but that's the way I feel
I
about it.
wasn't comparing. I
Yeah.
was just saying, as far as notoriety, Studio 54 guys, it's notoriety, but we still had lines going around the block, and we didn't have anybody outside the club picking people. The club was black, it was gay, it was Hispanic.
Please, you go back and change the. I mean, really? I mean, but yeah, But I just remember walking as fast as I could after I finished my night, and 2 blocks. There's no place to park. 2 blocks away, and you can feel the vibration already, and the doors from all the stores will start to shake as you come closer and closer, and you the faster as you can. I never had a problem. I never had a card for the garage, but I never had a problem getting into the garage. I
Right,
was
right.
fortunate
You
enough.
mentioned that.
Yeah.
You mentioned that, but one of the things, and I experienced it too, is walking up that ramp,
Oh,
and it's a long, good walk
sure.
up that ramp, and
Absolutely.
as you're walking up the base,
Oh,
it's kind of throbbing and it's getting like more, it's kind
yeah.
of as you get closer and closer up there. So it created this real sense of anticipation, and
Right.
it was actually quite memorable.
The anticipation was phenomenal for everybody. I mean, I was leaving my job at the Copa, and I had a great job there. And then all of a sudden, I look at the time, and run. And
Mm,
then you got to the front of the place, and you know that there was plenty of people out there. But thank God I never had to wait too long, and that was it. You're in, and then you're in paradise. That's just about the size of it. But
yeah.
what an incredible relationship you guys developed with each of them. David Mancuso and Larry Levan and everybody else. That is exactly why I'm looking forward to this seventh heaven. which you guys created, the seventh heaven, and I put this together. What the loft, paradise garage, seventh heaven, and so because people will love to see this on 320 on a radio and visual radio, like what we are doing right now. And I know already the sound is going to be awesome. You guys have great, Douglas. You have a great audio on your laptop there, and Joey is coming to your place, right, Douglas?
Yes. Yeah,
Um,
we'll do the next week. He'll come over to my place,
right,
and I'm gonna do my best to make sure he's comfortable
right.
and he has all his toys hooked up properly so
In
that
fact, I'm
we could
bringing
just
my
flow.
bringing
That's
my
really the
condenser
goal.
mixer from Australia, custom made mixer, which is probably why it sounds so good on my end, but it's going to be added there for seventh heaven.
Okay, so what do you have, Joey? You playing decks? You have decks or controller? I'm sorry.
I'm using a Denon 8 MCX 8000 strictly for convenience,
Right.
and then I'm using the condenser, which is a custom mixer out of Australia.
Sweet.
It has it
It's
has an isolator built in
it's a
and
rotor.
separate tone controls,
It's a rotary.
and it's rotary. Yes, as a matter of fact, well, I can't really
Okay.
show you
Yeah.
now, but if I pick it up because it's connected, but it's here. But we use it at our
It's a
parties.
really nice mixer. The Condesa is a really,
Uh,
it's a very good product that they make out of Australia.
wow. Wow. I would love to see that. I mean, Condesa, guys. Condesa.
We
That's,
did at nowadays we did like the owners there, they did like an A/B test because they were selecting, wanted to choose a new mixer. They were using the ENS, so they were auditioning the Condesa, the what was it? The Condesa,
Then there was
the
there was a Taiwanese.
AR,
I forget the name of that mixer, and then
and
a few other.
the boat on the. Anyway, they went through like three mixers. Condesa came out on top, although it was very close with the other ones, but the Condesa was a favorite as we went through all the music selections to
okay.
compare. So
Uh,
it's an excellent rotary mixer.
wow.
And Craig Shorty, uh,
Shorty. Is
he
he still around? Shorty. Oh
he
my God.
recommends the Condesa, and now that Rich Long is gone,
Yeah. Yeah.
and a few other people are gone. Shorty's my go-to guy when it comes to audio,
Yeah.
in New York. So he says the mixer
Very.
was good. I bought it. I'm
Yeah.
very happy with it.
Very talented man. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, and he's
I
still
yeah.
building. He
Uh,
has his lab in the basement, and he's always building stuff.
he
So
opened a place in Long Island City a while ago. Is that place still open?
That was a while back. I don't know if it's still open, but
Yeah.
he's got some things on the burner that are coming
Yeah.
up pretty soon. Is with some components and some to change the way the room is going to sound,
Yeah.
and it's going to be pretty incredible.
I'm
you
sure.
should reach out to him and have a chat. Have him on your show
I, I,
if he's
I will
interested.
I will love that, but I lost touch with Shorty. The last time I saw him was with Jelly Bean about I don't know a couple of years ago. We were
He's on
together.
Facebook.
Yeah, I
He
know,
live
I know.
streams all the
He
time.
live stream,
You'll
yeah.
find him on Facebook.
Because I have to. I would love to speak with Shorty. Good guy. I always like. We all always got along. But this is absolutely fantastic. I see some people joining us on the chat right here. Anybody have any questions for Douglas or Joey? Please send your questions now. It would be great
Please,
to
multiple choice only.
multiple choice. So
Are we going to have a chat during our show? Because
yeah,
a good
yeah.
friend of mine, Richard Vasquez, he's in there in
Richard
Florida.
Richard
He
is a
offered to make.
Richard is a sweetheart of a man. I love this man dearly. He's a talented, wonderful. We spend a lot of times together. God bless him. He's he's by the beach. I've been to his apartment, gorgeous condominium by the beach. He is still active at his age, which I'm very, very surprised that I mean with that energy, really. But wish him nothing but the best to Richard. I should call him. I actually should call him up. Yes,
No, actually,
the
I told him I was going to ask him to be a guest on our Seventh Heaven show, and he says I'm retired.
he retired. You can't retire. No, no, no. Let me tell you something.
He's on a
No,
temporary
We were
assignment.
planning to have him come up. He was going to come up to New York and join us for
right.
a session at Good Room, but then the pandemic hit, and that just kind of
Yeah,
put the kibosh on everything right
possibly
now.
that.
So
Yeah, he's got to be careful. People, in my age bracket. I mean, I'm a lot older than you guys, and I'm closer to Richard's age than. Anyway, he's what about? I think that he's in his mid 70s now. So he's got to be careful. And a big shout out to Richard. God bless you, and much love to you, Richard. And yes, we are. You guys can have a chat. There's a chat right next to the screen. So yes, absolutely. Many people will be chatting, and one of you guys will be playing while the other one is on the laptop doing your thing. And
You know what I think? We're
what?
going to have Richard offered to handle the chat for us while we concentrate on the music.
So that's
He said he
exactly
didn't
what it
want to
should
do the music.
should know. Absolutely that's a great idea, because I know you guys have tremendous amounts of people from all over the world, and we need to send this message to everybody, because this is so unique, so special. And we are having this on the third Saturday of every month, starting at what time, you guys? What was the time decided to do this?
and we said 5 to 9.
Okay.
We're going to do a 3 hour set, 5 to 9.
I
Is
thought you said
I thought you had four
it was
hours. I know I got you for 4 hours.
Then it's 5 to 10.
Okay, so it's 5 to 10 p.m. Okay, okay. So now I got it down, 5 to 10 p.m. on Saturday. Let me ask you, 5 to 10 Saturday nights. Okay, 5 to 10. Who's it for? 4 to 5. No,
we
five.
can't we can't do your booking, your DJ booking on the radio online right now during our interview, Louis.
No, wait a minute, wait. I gotta think about this because I know that I'm gonna get crucified
This
about
has
this
to be
timing.
done offline.
Offline. Let's do this
We all
offline.
work.
Okay, guys. So, but it's a Saturday. I will be announcing 9 to midnight. Is because somebody else is between 5 and something. I already told you this, Douglas. I just got corrected by Ernie, the tech guy, the director of the
Okay,
broadcast.
listeners, so don't believe anything as far as schedule is concerned of what you heard today.
Correct.
It's going to come back later to be
Okay.
confirmed.
Sounds like a plan. So, guys, listen. This is amazing. This is fantastic. I can't wait to really get it. Listen to you guys. Like I need to listen to you guys. It's therapy for a lot of people, if you know what I mean. Douglas, what else you want to add to this conversation?
Well, I thought maybe you could share just a little bit about the platform because we were talking offline before, but I thought it'd be worthwhile just to share a little bit about your platform and what it offers, as opposed to what Joey and I were looking at in terms of alternative platforms such as Twitch and Mixcloud
Yeah.
Live. But your platform was offering something that I think your viewers would also be
Right.
benefit from, as far as the
Well,
the quality of
I
the
really,
sound and everything.
yeah, I really
Maybe
got
you could
engaged
just a
into
couple
this.
of sentences about that.
Yeah, I really got engaged into this. Obviously, I started this mixathon quite a while ago, and the lockdown and everybody. And got fed up with the fact that Facebook kept shutting us down, and the quality of Facebook or any other social media is 128, Twitch is 162, even Mixcloud is 192. I say, stop. I don't want to do that. I want to give the people the best quality sound there is. So it's 320 what we have here right now. 320 high definition quality is stereo. So in order to do this, and like tonight, Licky Ciano and everybody's involved in this right now because we offer the best quality there is. Our our audience is used to getting the best there is. They're sophisticated enough in order for for anybody to offer them 128. That's MP3 quality. That's not what we're all about. And if you
It'll work
play
on a phone, but on a
through that,
stereo, you'll hear the
and
difference.
when you're playing analog, you're playing, vinyl, and what Joey is going to do needs to come across with the best quality there is. So the director of broadcasting, Ernie Lombardi, will be in touch with you in order to get everything together. You already said, so this is fantastic. Okay, so he will be giving you all the necessary tools for OBS in order to what it was streaming and so on. But this is why this is working. We have in such a short time we got 108,000 hits, and we're growing about 1,400 people every week. And this is amazing. To me, it's amazing. So I'm trying to get everybody involved. I'm doing the best that I can with your show, with the show Seventh Heaven coming on board. This will just explode because this, is an amazing opportunity for all of us. So that's basically what we have, and the chat room and everything. Uh, this I can't even read Pinky. I want everyone here to understand that there is nothing like the garage reunion as far as bringing back the original Loft spirit in the room. Everybody's excited. Everybody's really looking forward to this, and I have a team which we can merge and we can spread the word out there so we can have an amazing turnout for the first day of the Seventh Heaven show. All right, so that's my little whatever, to what I have to say about that. But I'm looking forward to this because I know I've been Joey. The last time I saw you was here when you came down to play in Miami, and we were together at that roller skating place. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
And then but anyways, this is gonna be fantastic. Everybody's ready. Everybody's ready. So the last word is yours, Joey.
Well, just wanted to reiterate, it's going to be Douglas Sherman and myself. We're merging two great legacies. It's sometimes it's an experience to experience the two legacies together because of you of the Loft
Right.
persuasion. You understand how that party uh, is 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 channeled through the music from beginning to end, and the Paradise Garage um, vibe is continuous music. So the flow of the music is going to be a little different than you're used to hearing, but the way it synergistically melds together as we progress when we play, is going to be very rewarding at the end of the show, and you're going to just want more of it. And it's a lot of fun for me to do. So as it is, I hope it is for Douglas. But I
Yeah, it's all
enjoy
right.
it, and I think I think the audience will enjoy it too.
Yeah. No, this is I can't wait. Like I say, is next week, and this is why I was eager to get you guys on this show, so we can tell the world that we're ready. You guys are ready to hear your stories. And I'm glad that I asked a couple of questions. I love the stories between David Mancuso and Douglas and Larry Levan and Joey Llanos. The legacy continues, ladies and
Let me
gentlemen. Yeah,
I just want to add one thing. You know what? One thing Joey and I both agree. What we want to be sure that as we grow our partnership around Seventh Heaven, that it really is something that can stand on its own and not necessarily in the shadows of, you know,
Right, right.
the garage and the loft. They really
oh,
are
absolutely.
iconic,
Yeah,
parties that, while we come out of that spirit and out of
yeah.
that footprint, we really want to be able to stand on our own apart from that and not necessarily have those names directly connected with this
But
party. This party
but
really
And
is
we will,
something,
we will, because there's
while
no real way
influenced.
for us. we David, excuse me, Douglas and myself, our names are very intimately connected with David Mancuso and Larry Levan. But Seventh Heaven is going to, a lot of people are going to expect us to play classics, and I understand that, and we will. But we will be moving in the direction of what is great as far as new music, and just so that the people understand that this is not a classic show. The Paradise Garage reunion is what that is, and the Loft is what that is.
All right.
And that nothing will ever touch those things.
I
Seventh Heaven is totally different.
Right. I think that you already have established that trademark of your own styles, and because the talent that you have created already exists, and your guys are ready to let it rip, and really people are gonna love that. The experience that you have and all of that, you already been around for such a long time, so this is absolutely, I can't wait for that. Uh, Douglas and Joey, thank you so much, my friends. I can tell you how much I'm looking forward to this for next week. During the week, I'll be in touch with either Douglas or Joey. I mean, maybe Douglas, because Joey, you're all good. Any questions, we'll be able to talk
Yeah,
about
yeah.
during the week.
Douglas is the technical guy.
Okay.
I'll
All right.
make it happen.
Sounds good. So, late. Thank you so
And just can I
much.
say one last thing?
You
One
can
last
say
thing
anything you want.
before, because I know we're going over.
Yeah.
Just to all the people out there who are eligible to vote in November 3rd, please vote. It's so important. Please vote.
All right.
Just want to throw that out as
Okay.
well.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today at the Legacy Hour with Douglas Sherman and Joey Llanos. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys on this chat next Saturday. I will be announcing it all week long. This is that important. Please help us spread the word to everybody. This is the night to be, Saturday, next Saturday. So I'll be looking forward to seeing you. And Douglas and Joey, thank you so much. God bless you and stay safe.
Welcome.
And I'll see you on the Visual Radio next week. Thank you so much, my brothers. Thank you. Thank you.
Peace.
Peace,
All
bro.
right. Thank you.